on Roundup Day.
No.
You don't know. We got that, all right. And we'll have plenty of chili if you want to come and get some chili, free chili,
Chili.
cupcakes,
Ooh.
drinks. It's all out there. So,
Okay.
welcome everyone. This is Saturday Night Live Life Recovery. We're here to help you to deal with your stuff in life. You know, and that's what we're here for. That's what we want. We want to help you. And it's a process. It's an ongoing process. It's not easy, but it's a whole lot easier than going the other way.
Amen.
Yes, okay, I was waiting on somebody to respond there. So thank you very much, Gar. So tonight we're going to be covering a topic that I guess Robert picked out, right, Robert? Okay, and that it's a spiritual exercise out of 1 Timothy 4, 7, and 8. Step number 10. This is our first week of step 10 because this is the 10th month. So we continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admit it. When I prepared that writing on the step on my paperwork, I bold and capitalized when we were wrong. I capitalized that word. I capitalized promptly. I capitalized admit it. And so because that's not our normal nature,
Right.
right? But our normal nature is usually avoid pain and seek pleasure.
Yeah.
And so when we're wrong, we don't want to admit it because that's painful. Am I telling the truth?
It is. And weak. Some people think it's a sign of weakness.
Yeah, say I'm wrong. Well, what's weak is to not admit that you're wrong.
Yes, sir.
Because every time I've asked somebody if somebody did something wrong and they avoided it, denied it, or blamed somebody else, did you like them more or less?
Mm-hmm.
They always said less.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but even if they did something wrong and they admitted it, and they admitted they did something wrong, and they took responsibility for their wrong, did that make you not like them? And every person I've ever asked always said, no, I appreciated them being that way, so I actually like them more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that a truth?
I've experienced it. Yes, that's the truth.
So that's what I have found, and in my own personal life, because a person lies to you, you can't believe anything they say, you know, and you don't know what the truth is. So anyway, enough of that. I started to go into the lesson, but it's not the lesson that I'm going into. I'm going into the question. The question is, what does spiritual exercise mean? Yes, Robert.
Means that we are intentional about practicing things that are going to deepen our relationship with God and make us more like Christ. That's what our spiritual life should center around. But while doing that, it affects everything around us. It affects our habits, the way we interact with other people, the way we see ourselves, the way other people see us. So it's really a lifelong, or it should be a lifelong endeavor.
Yes, yeah, and I like how you said it, and that the spiritual exercise is actually a program to help us to get spiritually strong internally, which affects everything externally, right? Because when we're spiritually weak, and we, for instance, like step 10 says that when you're wrong, you promptly admit it. If you're weak and you don't admit it, then that affects everyone around you, right? And so this is, of course, being tied to step 10 here tonight, that we want to practice, have an internal practice of spiritual exercise, and that's what we're talking about, not physical exercise, even though physical exercise can be helpful in practicing spiritual exercise. And we'll read scripture on that here in a little bit. But that this practice, I like this definition that I have on the paperwork, that it shapes us. It shapes our inner life, right? It actually shapes our thinking. It will also shape our emotions. It will deepen our relationships, because we've already talked about relationships. You either make relationships better or worse, right? And so if we have some practices that help make it better, and we'll be talking about some of those practices later on, particularly in the question and answer or reflection time, because it gives a little inventory, a daily inventory, and I even put it on the bottom of the sheet there also. The same one, same very one. It's just a simple one, but it's a good one, okay? So anyway, that's what we want to do, and if we do that, these practices, now, anytime you're practicing anything, it's not just one and done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Practice means what?
Repeat.
Repeat. And you do it, and because what we're wanting to do is to get it into our subconscious so that we actually do act the way we want to act subconsciously and not have to do it all consciously. God He created us in that way to where we can turn it into an unconscious habit so that we'll unconsciously be that. But it takes some work to get it in there. Particularly if we got old habits we got to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's tie that, step 10, which I've already been working on it. And that, what's the question? The question is, what does spiritual exercise, how does spiritual exercise connect with step 10? Even though I have step 9 written on there, but it's step 10, sorry. Misprint. And so, in short, the spiritual exercise in step 10 both emphasizes daily discipline. See, if we do something every day, if you do something once a year, it doesn't really sink in. I mean, it's not that that's bad, but it just doesn't really get sunk into us, right? Right? Okay, I remember when I was going to college, I would listen and take notes, but then I wouldn't study those notes until it was time for the test. And then I had an instructor that says, if you just get to class 5 minutes early and go through your notes, you'll know your notes. And you'll know what your notes mean, because I always had a problem with trying to figure out what my notes meant, and I had to go in and look them up. But if I kept current with my notes, and I just do them all, and you know, it wasn't that much, but it was you do it and you remember it. So the more you do it, the more you're able to remember it, and you practice that, so you knew the information when it came time to do the test. That sounds easy, right?
Especially the important stuff. You
Yeah.
write the notes on.
And you know, because you got notes on it, you know what it means. You tie it all together. You have memory pathways already created, and so you just redo that. It's like walking. I used to jog out in this field, and after a little while, I had a path worn down. You know, and I thought, well, I wonder if some of the animals was running down this path, because it was pretty well beat down. And so, but when I stopped running, guess what? In that field, yeah, the path seemed to disappear. So I run down the road nowadays. They didn't like me running in their field. So anyway, but that's okay. We're good. So emphasize daily discipline. Daily is good. There's 2 golden times of a day. Do you know what they are?
Uh,
That's not it. Sorry.
I heard-
Yeah. Well,
Breakfast and dinner?
uh,
well, they're that's important, pretty important to some people. What?
early morning and late night right before you go to bed?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
When you first get up, and when you're getting ready to go to bed, and when you're shutting down, and because when you get up, if you go through what it is that you want to get accomplished in that day, that sets your day.
Uh-huh.
And when you go to bed and you go through a review or go through or plan for the next day, that sets your night's sleep. So you put your mind in gear for what you want to get accomplished as you go to sleep. So
And I've heard it kind of turns in your mind as you guys just going to sleep, and
sure.
I don't know.
Well, have you ever watched a movie and then you had a dream that was similar to what was going on?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, those are 2 golden times. That's what I understand. So let's see. With humility and ongoing growth, and that will produce that growth that you want. You say, I want to change my life. Well, what you have to do is some of the things we're talking about right here.
Mhm.
Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good. And they keep us spiritually fit so that recovery isn't just a one-time event, but a lifestyle of honesty and connection with God and others.
The lifestyle, I like that.
Yeah. This definition didn't say others, but that's part of our program, is with others, right? So, yes, sir.
I like what's written here under this spiritually fit part, that it's like a maintenance thing. If we work on this regularly, if we do these exercises regularly, it prevents relapse by not letting guilt, denial, or resentment build up. And
What number is that? Because I remember that, I just can't find it on my
it's
sheet.
on number 2, down on the,
Staying spiritually fit?
yeah.
Okay, yes.
And, you know, most people that are in recovery, that's the thing that they fear the most, is a relapse.
Right?
So if, it just is a reminder that if we do these exercises regularly, I mean, it's maybe at first it's hard to do daily, but we should get in the habit of, like you say, when we wake up or when we go to bed, we do these reviews. That is what's going to help us not relapse more than anything.
You are absolutely correct, and that's what taking a personal inventory is all about. And because, well, can we talk about that for a second?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay, and because most of us want to avoid reality, right? We want to deny reality, and so we don't want to we really don't want to do an inventory because we really don't want to look at it. Now, sometimes we say we do, but it's hard, okay? And it takes some real courage and discipline and humility to deal with your own personal ego, because that's what's saying, no, I don't want to look at it. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so if we can tame, is it all right if I use the term, that monster? If we can tame that monster. Now, I'm not saying kill it, okay? Because God gives us certain strengths, but sometimes they get twisted into or bent in the wrong direction. But if we can get it bent in the right direction, whoa, look out. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's
I
not,
was always real nervous before I went on the basketball court, and Coach said, "Well, that's good, channel that toward you," and so.
yeah, and that is, yeah, if we can look at it as excitement instead of fear, then that boosts us. But if we're afraid that we're gonna, if we're overly concentrating on, well, when, I always use the illustration, since you brought that up, is there if I drop this illustration in there? If a person is at the free throw line and they're making a shot and it's, if they make it, they win. If they don't, yeah. And so a good coach will yell out to the player, get my words here, because I said a good coach will yell out to the player and say something, right? And then the people in the stands are yelling and saying stuff, right? Now, the people in the stands, I just wanted to plant the thought about the good coach and then go to the stands. So what are the people in the stands saying?
But see, I was wondering why you didn't tell me what the coach said.
Well,
Okay.
I'll get to that, but
Okay, that's
let's
cool.
hear what everybody, you know what they're saying in the stands, right?
Depends on which side you're on.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
generally they say, bear down, get tough, don't miss it, you can do it,
Uh-huh.
you gotta do it, right?
Come on, you can do it.
Do it, all right? Now, a good coach would say, relax,
Uh-huh.
just like in practice, just ease up and do it the way you always do it in practice. That's what a good coach does, right? Now, which direction actually helps the player to make the basket? The coach information, a good coach information, or the crazy people in the stands?
Oh, the coach, just relax,
And because see, when we tense up, right? When we tense up and we're nervous, we tense up. So when you shoot it, you're trying to push through all that tension. All right? And you never shot that way before. And so you're either gonna over push it or you're gonna under, right? Because you haven't practiced that. Does that make sense? So that's one of the things that being willing to do that inventory will help us, because we're going over the things, and you'll be talking about that in a little bit, right, Garth? The simple one that I've got on this sheet. It's in your questions.
Yes, sir.
So we'll do that. So, anything else? Who's reading steps?
I guess I am. 'Cause
Well, come-
I was supposed
come.
to just walked out.
Well, he knew when to leave.
Yes.
One.
Of
It's
course.
like when he knew when the check was coming out at the restaurant, didn't he?
Exactly.
Hello?
All right, Lori.
Yes, we have audio, no video.
Okay, I'll work on it.
Okay. Number 1, we admitted that we were powerless over our problems and that our lives had become unmanageable. Step 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Step 3, we made a decision to turn our wills and our lives over to the care of God. Step 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character. 7, we humbly asked God to remove our shortcomings. 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, and this is where we're at tonight, we continue to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry it out. Step 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to others and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And back to step 10, where we're at tonight, we continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Robert.
Thank you.
Oh, did I need to ask for band?
Anybody need any clean time? Clean time bracelet celebration? Okay. All right. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Robert. Robert.
All right, we are on spiritual exercises from 1 Timothy 4, 7, and 8. We continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. It is amazing what human beings can achieve through consistent, disciplined effort.
Do you agree or disagree with that statement?
I agree.
Okay. You got any thoughts about that?
Well, I think as we go on, it's going to talk about athletes. That's what we usually think of right away. And so every time I watch the Olympics or even events coming up to the Olympics, I'm always interested if there's a new world record set on time and it's just amazing how they can their bodies are so tuned to accomplish those goals.
And everybody ought to be able to do that, right?
Sure.
Well, I'm pretty sure it requires lots and lots of training.
Yes.
Lots and
And-
lots of really committed training, yeah.
And what was that word we was talking about a while ago?
Repetitive
Repetitive.
and
Practice.
exercise.
Practice. That's how you get to Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
Oh. I took the subway to L train.
How many times have we watched seasoned gymnasts or other athletes and marveled at the ease with which they performed? We realize that they developed those abilities through rigorous training,
Yes.
which is what sets the true athletes apart from the spectators.
What does that mean?
The people in the stands are the spectators or the ones watching on TV, and they cheer and rah, 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 but they probably have no idea what's involved in getting to that point. Go ahead, Garth.
Yeah, and the audience usually goes, oh, they make that look so easy. Yet the performer has gone through extremely difficult to get to that point.
You just made me think of a deal one time. I was teaching a class. We used to have classes on Sunday night, and I was teaching this class. And this one girl, lady came up and with her husband, and she just was talking about it. And she says, "You make it look so easy. You just do it, you know." And her husband says, "Yeah, but you don't know the work that he has to do that." I said, "Yeah, I'm glad I make it look easy, but it's usually 10 to 12, 20 hours, oftentimes, preparation for a class like that." And so, at least it is for me, because I always over prepare, but that's just the way I'm not comfortable because I never know what somebody's going to ask, so I try to be prepared, even with this stuff. So I'm more confident that I am able to handle the questions nowadays than I used to be, but
Yeah.
I like to be prepared. So we don't know.
Because you repeated for 20 years.
It's like Garth's story of the forklift. You know, it looks a lot easier.
It does.
It looks quite easy on the
It sure
YouTube, right?
Sure does.
And my experience with the one wheel I mean, I saw people riding them and it looks a lot easier than it really is, let me tell you. Because when I first got on, I was like, you know, my I was so wobbly, I couldn't believe it, you know?
What, your body was sending all kinds of messages to your legs,
It sure was.
your ankles, and they said, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait.
But anyway, we keep on working.
Yes.
Continuing our regular personal inventory requires similar self-discipline.
What do you think that means?
It
Similar
means-
self-discipline.
Well, those athletes had a goal in mind. They didn't just do that training just for fun, I don't believe.
Right.
They had their mindset that they wanted to accomplish something. We should have that same mindset. We want a recovery from our addiction. So it requires some discipline on our part. It's not gonna just happen by magic unless we do something about it. And
Boy, that's a good statement. I think you ought to say that again.
Boy, lightning, that's lightning
I forgot
strikes
what I
twice.
said.
Go ahead.
we're not gonna make it very far on the road to recovery by magic. It requires some work on our part and determination and discipline
Good,
and
Good.
practice.
good.
And one thing that comes to mind is, like, a professional athlete or something, they do it over and over and over and over and over, and just, so the body's just, they don't have to think about it, right?
Yeah.
With recovery,
That's what they want to get to, that place where
Sure.
they can turn their brain off, and then they're able to do what we call be in the flow, be automatic, that you're just able to do it. And that's when it's your subconscious, because your subconscious operates way faster than our consciousness. Yes.
Have you ever worked in a factory, the first day you're there, the guy training you, he's like going so fast, you're like, how? And you can't even come close. And then within 3 weeks later, you're like really close, but you're not thinking about it no more. It becomes automatic. The minute a problem happens, you know the solution or how to get to the solution. And what we're doing, that's what we're just talking about, is a lot of times we get into work, we find the answer and not even really know the question which we're looking for. So when we get into the problem again, we don't know that we've already got the answer. What we got is going back, following through. So it is a workout every day, but it's a different kind of workout instead of physical. I don't have a coach on me telling me what to do. I can have to self-discipline myself.
Right.
Because if I don't have desire, it's never gonna work. That's, I'm
Right.
starting around now. The factory thing is what I think of when I see it, not an athlete. Because I've been in factories where people were just, I mean, they made it like it was saying, they'd be reading a book while doing it, and I couldn't even do it looking at it.
like Lucy with
We
the chocolate.
understood it.
Yeah.
I used to be in a factory one time, and I was walking with the maintenance guy, and he says, and this is where we had two steam. Can't even remember what it was. This is a long time ago. Anyway, they generate steam. They had 100 pounds pressure on it, and he said, "Do you hear that?" I said, I mean, we got machines operating, you got stuff happening, you got banging and slamming and people, and I said, what? He says, the water pump stopped. And we went back to it, and the water pump had a valve had gotten stuck or something, but if you had a possibility of an explosion, okay, and I wouldn't be here today, okay? But we went back here and he did something, but he detected that from halfway through the shop. You know, it's like a mechanic. They can listen to it and they can tell you what it is, but you don't even know what they're listening for.
Yeah.
But they've heard it before, and when they hear it again, they have an idea, right? And that's exactly what you're talking about, Will. and because they programmed themselves, and that's what we're talking about here, about programming ourselves for healthy living in recovery. And then the next thing you know, people is going to say, "How do you do that? How do you? And you say, and you don't even know how you. But then you start putting it together because you really don't learn it until you start teaching it. That's the reason why I asked you guys to teach, right?
You know, and so on the daily thing with my addiction, I think that if I get to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm good, you know, I don't have to exercise today. Well, I think I should keep exercising every day to not relapse, because I think that, you know, if we feel like we've reached the point where we don't need to do it anymore, I mean, we gotta keep going.
That's a symptom of a relapse.
Yeah, you know, because then, I don't know, I just think it's,
Yes.
you just have to have it natural.
You're
so
right.
that when you hear that water pump go out, you heard it, you know?
And it was later on, I could hear when something wasn't working right. Not that it went out, but it wasn't making the right noise, you know? And so, and that happens all the time. And, you know, people ask me questions all the time in different areas, and we process through it, and a lot of times we can stumble across a potential solution, and that's what we want. So, anything else? Go ahead.
Paul wrote to Timothy in 1 Timothy 4, 7 and 8, train yourself to be godly. Physical training is good, but training for godliness is much better.
Yes.
The word translated training referred specifically to the disciplined training done by gymnasts in Paul's day.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Even back, that's.
Well, I mean, you know, the ancient Greek, you know, is, you know, and the Romans, they were all into that, and some of their processes in the gym were very strong, okay, and ruthless, and so, but the idea here is he's saying it's not just a la-di-da, I'll catch it if I feel like it, and if it happens to come by, that's not how a gymnast does it. They have to go to work every day.
Yeah, and you think about, I mean, I don't know if they had this back in Paul's day, but the gymnasts today, like they walk on that balance beam.
Right.
Right?
That's difficult.
And
And
flip
they're,
up.
yeah, they're turning flips and,
Turn flips on a balance
Yeah.
beam.
Sure.
I don't think that's very easy to do.
I can, I'll show you someday.
I heard a joke. You interested in a joke?
Yes,
Pertaining kind of like this about, it was a joke about a guy walking on a tight rope over someplace, okay, maybe between two skyscrapers or something like that, and he was jumping up and down and able to do flips, and he got a wheelbarrow and was able to push it across there, and everybody says, "You can do it, you can do it, you can do it," and he says, "Well, okay, I can do it. Now, which one of you want to ride in the wheelbarrow?"
Yeah.
all right.
I got a million of them.
Yeah.
I can't remember them, but I got them.
Spiritual strength and agility come only through practice. We need to develop our spiritual muscles through consistent effort and daily discipline. Continuing to take our personal inventory is one of the disciplines we need to develop. Gotta keep going, or you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a question a while ago, but I think we already covered it, so we got
All
it.
right. Like the athlete, we can motivate ourselves to continue in disciplined routines by looking forward to our reward. This kind of discipline promises benefits in this life and in the life to come.
Okay, and we're talking about, you know, what is it that, what do we get if we don't practice? How about that? Let me turn the question around. What do we get if we don't practice? Yeah, well,
A bunch of excuses? Well, honestly,
Yeah.
when you're going on the tightrope, if you take your attention off that rope, your chances of falling just went a whole lot higher than your chances of staying on that rope. When I take my eye off the prize, what I find is I focus on everything but what I want, and I always lose the thing that I wanted the most.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly when the disciple was going to go to Jesus walking in the water. He did good as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus, but as soon as he started looking at the wind and the waves, he started sinking. So, so what do we get if we do practice? How about that?
We get benefits now
Right.
and for the future. And even forever.
Eternal benefits.
Yeah.
And we're preparing for a race, at least, you know, sport-wise, and so we have to keep practice. So for that moment, that we can win. And so here I'd say is with God, you know, we got to keep practicing.
Absolutely. Good. And so, since we're talking about that, our reward is, you basically touched on it, but what's our reward? For practicing.
If I
Do
said
I?
it right, if I said it correct, adulation. Did I say the word right, Robert?
Well, that's the word. That's, won't you use a different word? We get joy,
Sure.
okay? We get
peace.
recognized.
Sure, yeah, praise was kind of what I was thinking,
The scripture says that he'll say, enter into the joys of the Lord, okay? And so, we get recognized, we get a reward, we get the promises that's been promised to us.
We get colorful bracelets.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Results won't happen overnight, but as we continue practicing these disciplines, each day, we will eventually reap the benefits.
So if we continue practicing these disciplines each day, which we're hitting that each day pretty hard today, right? Each day, we will eventually reap, right? That's what we're talking about. So we'll reap the benefits. But we'll definitely, if we don't practice, if we don't participate, we're going to reap something else.
Yeah.
We're going to reap heartache, destruction, loss, pain, all of that. And so here's the question. I want to review the statement, but what are the practices that we need to do? What's the practices?
We need to take personal inventory,
Good.
which means looking at the day, the week, the year, the month, whatever. But if we do this regularly, we should do it daily. We should say, okay, what did I do good today? What did I do bad today? How did I handle the bad thing that I did? And we want to, like the step says, when we were wrong,
Good.
promptly admit it.
Good. And so, how is practice different than discipline? Or is it different?
I would say it is different.
Okay?
Robert? Well, no, he's taking a breath. I thought he was going to say something, so I didn't want to steal his
Go
thunder.
ahead.
But practice, well, I don't know how. I just know there's a difference, and so I don't know if I would if I'm able to articulate it well. So that's why I was.
Okay, I have an idea.
Okay.
I think discipline is making ourselves practice.
I like that.
Uh-huh.
That's good. I like that.
Fulfilling our promises.
Practice doesn't come automatic. We have to have the discipline to do the practice.
Good.
Well, how many people-
Practice is what we do. Discipline is the causer of the doing.
Right.
Would you go with that?
Yeah.
Do you think everyone's got ever got a gym membership and never gone, or they always go, don't they? Right? They always go.
We used to have a guy that came to this meeting. We were talking about that one time, and maybe on this particular statement, he said he used to have 2 gym memberships, and he didn't go to either one of them. But he got the second one to try to help motivate himself to go. But all it did was make him feel bad.
Yeah. My wife wanted to get a exercise bike that you ride on stationary,
Mhm.
and she wanted to put it in front of the TV so that she could get some exercise while she was watching TV. And she did that about three sessions. And then she moved the exercise bike into the garage and it never got used again.
Yes.
It can happen.
Yeah.
So she created, what do they call it, the Peloton, where they have the video clips and the riding bike, and you pay a lot of money to do that, so you feel obligated to use it
Yeah.
at least 5 times.
At least 5 times, and then it sets for a long time and it sells for very little out of
Oh, yeah.
drugs, so.
Yeah,
Then you fight to
get rid
have
of
them cancel your membership.
it. So if, and back to the same question here, because the rest of it was, and what are our benefits if we have the practices and we have the discipline? What's our benefits?
Well, we stay or we continue being addiction free, hopefully.
Good.
We learn how to handle any temptations or triggers.
Good.
We have fewer relapses.
Good.
The more we practice, the better we get at handling that whole situation with our addiction. As a result of that, then we have better relationships. We become closer to God. We are more reliable and trustworthy, and our whole life is happier. And long term, we build on that. We become better people. And ultimately, God will reward us everlastingly.
In eternity, but in the present, we like ourselves better. We are able to engage in life in healthier ways, right?
Right.
And we go to jail less. Thought I'd throw that in there.
Unless we go there to counsel and help.
Yes, yeah. Will, would you like to respond to that?
Yes, and one more, I agree with everything you said, except I think there's a terminology in which they use a lot that wasn't brought up. Like, if you ever been to a construction site, somebody uses a drill but as a hammer, it really pisses off the guy who knows what the drill's for. But as we do a daily inventory, we learn how to properly use what tools we use for when we do this, how to treat others better.
That's good.
That's
Sure.
So we learn a bunch of tools, and we learn how to use them for the daily.
That's good. It's good.
Yeah, and one word that came to mind when you asked the question that Robert couldn't answer, for me, the one word that came to mind is healthier. We're healthier.
Healthier, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, financially, in every area, right? And so that's the benefit, okay? But what about the fella that's that, you know, gets involved and starts the practice, starts the disciplines, and then they slowly stop.
Chances are they go back to their old habits. They relapse, they start associating with people that they were around when they were getting into trouble. I mean, some people after many years maybe can handle it, but personally I feel like the people that I'm associating with during my recovery are my dearest friends because they have helped me. And why would I want to stop associating with them? That's my own personal feeling. I feel like this is a lifelong, at least the rest of my lifelong things that I want to be involved in, because it's been such an eye-opening experience and has been so beneficial compared to what my life was like before.
That's great, and when you were talking there, this conversation came to my mind, because, see, sometimes, well, this fella was talking to me, and he was saying he had a family member of his that wanted him to engage in some particular behavior, and they said, I know that you can do that. You can do this. And he says, that's the way I was. That's not the way I am, and that's not the way I want to be. I can't do that anymore. You know, and that is a sign of some good personal development. Would you say so? And even when you have somebody that, you know, they're needy, okay, they're needy. They're wanting you to fix it for them, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard. You have to be pretty healthy to say, no, that's who I was. That's not, I'm not interested in opening that door up again.
Right.
So anyway, I just felt a need that I wanted to express this. Does that? Hope that's okay.
Great.
So.
And a thought that came to my mind a moment ago, and that is, you know, it was really hard to get by in the addiction. I mean, it just didn't know where I was going to stay. It just was really hard. So I think it's really important each day to remind myself that it's hard to get and stay sober. But it's not as hard as it was to survive that.
Right.
And over time, I think it's important to every day have that daily affirmation, so to speak, because I don't want to in the future forget and then get comfortable and where I'm at and just, you know, and then stop practicing daily and then fall back into addiction. You know, I have to keep reminding myself.
I want to tell one more story. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And this person I was talking with, they don't live here, but I was talking with them, and they kept talking about things are just, you know, used to be so good, and now things are so chaotic and difficult, and one of her disciplines was reading scriptures every morning, and it really helped her a lot, and she enjoyed that and had done that for a good long while, you know, and now it's not happening. I didn't even realize I wasn't doing it anymore, and things are so hard, and things are difficult, and now I'm using legal substances instead of illegal substances, okay? And it's so expensive, and it's costs so much, and having hard times making ends meet, and I kept saying, well, What do you think the problem might be? Well, we slowly, after I kept encouraging, they identified some of the problems of not having that spiritual connection and spending all of their money on the supposedly legal substances. And now her family, they're getting mad at her, and now there's maybe some legal stuff that's coming happening, and one of the big things in her life was to engage with her family. And now it's not going the way she wanted us to go because she's not going the way she's been going. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm trying to not say too much, but you know it. And I didn't tell her what to do. I kept pointing stuff out. It's up to them, right?
Mhm.
It's up to you to make your decisions.
Mhm.
You can sabotage your life if you choose to. You got every right in the world to do it. But when we're done talking, you're going to at least have an idea, you know, that what you're doing to yourself.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, and the trouble is, we'll lie to everybody else, and that's not good, but then we lie to ourselves. And then we try to lie to God too. Right? How's that work out for you?
Not good.
Well, I kind of depressed that situation, didn't I? All right. Robert, why did you pick this topic?
Because last year I did the questions on this topic.
Okay.
So it was a little familiar.
Okay, well, that's good. Good.
But I like it. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's just so important to remember that it doesn't stop. A recovery is not a process you go through and then you're healed. It's a lifelong thing. That's what I'm learning, and that's what I hope that I never forget.
Because there's reasons why we've had some of these behaviors that we're not even aware
Right.
of them yet. And because doing our inventory and working our program and taking little steps, here a little, there a little, we're cleaning things up a little bit, because the truth is we're not ready to deal with some of that. But one day, when the Holy Spirit shows it to us, then we will be.
Yeah.
And I try to be very careful about forcing people into those places that they're not ready for yet, because I know what's going to happen.
They're going to run it.
They're going to blow up and blow out. I did now this isn't my fault, but I did a funeral several years ago of a really good guy, was a tremendous worker for the Lord, did a lot of good things. He ran a bus. He had a bus route that had 100 kids on it at one time. 100. And something went haywire in his life, and he started smoking again to try to help ease it. And then the next thing, he'd get mad at himself and overwhelmed about smoking. You know what I'm talking about? And then he started just drinking a little bit, just take the edge off. But then it just kept growing. And I'd go out to the rehab and I'd talk to him and pray with him, and he'd have blackouts, you know, and his heart would stop, and all kinds of things, and he's a great guy. He was always a great guy. And then several years ago, I did his service, memorial service, and it's just, it's just painful. It's just painful. And of course, I'm talking about things that were 25, 30 years ago. His funeral was probably 15 years ago, and so, or more. And so, anyway, it's so critical to do what we're talking about here. So, what did you learn from this lesson this time around?
That these spiritual exercises are vital for our recovery. The Bible in the scripture says physical exercise is good for a little,
Right?
and we can't deny that. We have to have exercise or we're going to be unhealthy. But spiritual exercise is for our mental, emotional, and relational well-being,
Right.
which is every bit, if not more, important than physical.
It's the healing of our soul. That's good. That's good. And that's very important. That's great. So what's your takeaway?
My takeaway is that recovery is not a goal that we intend to meet. It's a lifelong process that we never want to stop.
Good. Good. That's great. It's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Robert. Hey, I want to say hello to Hugo. He's watching us. I think he's in Mexico, but I'm not for sure. But anyway, does anybody know Hugo? All right. Anyway, hi Hugo. And so Garth, are you ready?
Yes, sir. We'll see.
You might want to move the microphone up. Yeah.
Or I can. Let's see. How do you do it, Robert?
Just
lift.
tip it up. Just push down on the back and push up over.
Or just
the
like that? Okay. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Garth, and hello to everyone out there. Thanks for joining us. And so, this is my first time to get up to do this. Maybe I did it once before. So, bear with me, cuddle me, don't let me fall. So, as this continual inventory is important for spiritual fitness, where in my daily routine can I set aside time to make self-assessment part of every day? And so, for me, I like it in, right before I go to bed, like even in bed, like if I can shower, I can get kind of relaxed, I can have the lights, the way that I like, and then that's the kind of moment I'm exhaling, and I can think about the day, how did it transpire, what do I have on my books for tomorrow. And so that's always the best time for me. In the morning, it's difficult for me because, kind of waking up and a little groggy and I feel like I have to do something, go somewhere, whereas at night I feel like, well, I don't have to rush my thoughts.
Good. But the important thing is that we have a time.
Yes, I think so. And for me, for me, it's good to have this, a routine, the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, every night I go to sleep, and so that's a good time for me.
Good. Question number 2.
Question number 2. It says, do I have any resistance to evaluating my defects daily?
That's a big question. That's a big question right there.
And well, what I put is I don't really have any objections to, evaluating my defects daily. I mean,
What about resistance? Because that's about resistance.
I would say no. I mean, because, well, I have to identify my defects to improve,
Right?
right? And
You don't have to.
I know,
If you don't,
they get worse.
they grow, don't they?
They sure do, and become more noticeable. And so for me, like, so what I would say in my practice, it's scary to go in and have to present something, and somebody's going to be attacking it in any way they can, and to be able to be prepared, and there's been many times I'm like, wow, that's a good point. I don't know how to respond, but I can't show that, and I have to respond. So it's important for me to identify weaknesses so that I can have a response, both in a profession and in myself.
Good.
Because if I don't identify them, others will. Okay, Robert?
I kind of have the tendency to think I'm always right. So I have to consciously make myself think about what I did wrong. And if I can't find something I did wrong, then I feel like I failed, because I do something wrong every day. We all do. So I cannot allow myself to say I'm done with my exercise until I identify something that I did wrong.
That's really good. That's really good, because it is human to err, and so we all make mistakes, and if you don't think you make any, you're fooling yourself, right? And that's exactly what
the
you're
first
talking
mistake right there.
about. Good, Robert.
And then even if I didn't do anything wrong per se, I like to think about how I handled it or how it went, and could I have done it better? Because, after all, I like to progress forward.
Sure, that's good.
And then also, I constantly am thinking about, like if I'm preparing for something, what will, how can I be attacked? How can the other side point to things that show that I'm wrong? And so it makes me, be the devil's advocate. And I think,
I'd prefer to say be better prepared.
yeah, maybe devil's advocate in the church is not exactly. That's well, we can edit.
Because you're not trying to destroy yourself. You're trying to prepare yourself and strengthen yourself.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But I, I have to kind of I have to think about, I can't just think about how, this is the right thing and it's the right thing. I have to think about, well, how is it wrong? And if I can think of something, then okay, maybe I need to explore that.
Good, good.
Well,
Will didn't say nothing.
Okay.
oh, but you raised your hand a little earlier.
I was just joking about, we got a list for you if you can find other defects.
What did he say?
He says that he just was kidding. He's going to kid you, because if you can't figure it out, he's got a list for you of things that he wants to give you about.
So they're obvious to you, is what you're saying, yes.
And so,
Okay, and that's, we'll talk about this later. Outside.
but
Yes.
it's not failure. It's learning. We learn from everything if we'll do that. And Einstein said that in every problem lies an opportunity.
Agreed.
So.
And it's important, and I would say that no matter how right or what I feel in something, there's always somebody who thinks I'm wrong. And so I think it's important to listen. So, when, there's certain subjects you're not supposed to talk about on a first date or what have you, Well, I like talking about those subjects because, if we have, and I don't get angry because I'm not trying to change their opinion. I want to hear what they have to say because I learn and and I want to grow, so it's good to hear constructive criticism. It's not always easy to hear, but it's important to hear for me.
And just because somebody communicates that you're wrong, that doesn't, I mean, that's their focus or their perspective, because I've been in a lot of situations that both of us have been right from my perspective. And so, do we have time for another story?
Please.
Many years ago, Linda and I, my wife, we were driving down the highway, a road. No, it's a state highway, and it was kind of back. This is probably 45 years ago, and there was some mining area was right, and there was some houses built there, and they were pretty new houses, but there was still mining stuff behind them. So it was still kind of a rough area that was being developed. Now it's all cleaned up and smooth, and but I actually I don't remember who had the opening line here, but I'll say it was me. And I said, "Did you see that goat?" Yeah, I think it was me. Did you see that goat chained to that at the end of the house there with that dog house? It just struck me. It was a big black goat. And Linda says, "I seen a big black dog chained there at the end of the house by the dog house." I said, "No, it was a goat." She says, "It was a dog." I said, "I know a goat when I see a goat." And she says, "Doug, because she's a real dog person, Doug, I know dogs, and it was a dog." So I slept on the brakes and did a U-turn and went back, and I pulled up to this house, pulled over on the shoulder, and I pointed right across from her, and I said, "Right there is a goat." And she says, "Yes." And she took her arm and went over my arm and pointed at the other end of the house, the opposite end of the house, and says, "And there is a dog."
So you're both right.
We were both right, and we were both wrong. Okay, that was my takeaway, and that has been a lesson that I have held on to. Okay, yes, I was right, but that doesn't mean that I was right about what she was seeing. Okay, and so anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there. It was
Good story.
Yeah, and when somebody, thinks I'm wrong or something, it's for me. It's always important to listen to why, because
from their perspective.
sure, because it's that end of the house, not that end.
Right.
Well, okay, so we agree now, and if we knew just that little piece that was,
Because I didn't see the dog and she didn't see the goat, so it's just, but it's just a one of a kind story, I've never heard anybody else with another story like that, but anyway. All
Yeah.
right, I'll be quiet now.
Yeah, okay, so where am I? We're on
You're on number 2, you're on the second part of number 2.
Okay, it says, so what are my objections, what do I fear? And this is in evaluating my daily defects daily.
Your resistance to evaluating your defects. And
And,
you already touched on that, so.
yes,
So if you want to go on to 3, we can.
let's go to number 3, because yes, okay. So number 3 is an example of a simple daily personal inventory. Where have I been selfish, dishonest, fearful, inconsiderate, or proud? And so,
Do you want to talk about any of those?
sure, yeah, so I put down selfish as one. And, and sometimes, when you take notes or when you write, you can't read your own writing, and
I have that problem.
yes, sir. So it says, okay, so kind of in being selfish is like I keep changing my phone number, and folks, kind of like, I can't reach you. Well, and I'm not sure if I was doing it
You mean like I texted you this week and I didn't get a response?
because I changed my number.
Ah,
And I think subconsciously I was doing something because I was thinking, because I keep having folks contact me. And I used to get like, on sale, text. I'm like, and so I need to change my number. And then, but I
why
still,
don't you give us your number right now while we're,
oh, to the whole world, you betcha. It's 867-5309. Does anybody remember that? Yeah, go ahead and call that.
On yours, not Jenny's.
Yeah, that's good. So, yeah, and because I don't know, I'll see somebody and oh yeah, okay, I'll give you the number. I kind of trust this individual. I don't know, but so I'm selfish because something, I gave you my number and I don't want you to have it anymore, and so I yank it away.
oh, well, now that makes me feel good.
But did I forget that those who I love, I forget that But but also, it's, and I'm changing it kind of frequently because something I was telling Robert, so I have the flip phone now instead of the smartphone. I don't have my contacts on there, and it's a real pain in the rear if I want to reach somebody. But something, if I start fiending, I can't find my plug's number. And so I'm making things challenging for me.
Okay, good.
And so then now I have people still coming over, knocking on my door. So I'm selfish because, I used to feel bad. So the guy came over today, I said, don't come over no more. He said, well, I got something for you. I said, I don't want anything from you. I don't want you back over here forever. Go away, And, that's kind of...
That's when you play the dog recording inside. Still that cat you got.
Yes. I feel kind of bad, and I know it's, people are trying to reach me, and I haven't updated my number, but I think I'm being selfish because something right now, it's about me, and I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry I'm making y'all, not be able to reach me. I really am, but right now.
I'll get over it.
Yes, bless your heart. You love me in the end.
I do.
And then I also said, proud, because I've been, taking continual steps towards sobriety.
Great.
And an analogy that I thought of today, when you go and you get your eyes tested, they go, tell us which is more clear, this one or that one, this one or this one, this one or that one, which one? Can I say it one more time, this one or that one? And so for me, it's, if I have, so I've had enough time, I've done it and I stop, and I try it again and I stop, and for me, I've been learning along the way that, I'm sick and tired of it. So, do you like life better with this or without dope? With dope? Without dope. With dope,
I get it. That's a good illustration.
And so, so going to church and stuff like that, I was talking with you here recently that, I'm lonely. Well, because I'm isolating.
Right.
But when I go to church, there's a lot of fun. It's cool people there. We laugh, we have a good time. We go out, we have lunch afterwards. We go to fish fry, And so those are things that I get when I don't do dope. But when I do dope, I'm like, I'm lonely. I don't have anyone around, but I do. It's the dope that keeps me there. So, with dope or without, And so, I feel over time I've just basically reached the point where, what's the fun in it anymore? The dope things. What is the fun? So, daily, it's good for me to think about what's up today. What are you going to do today? Going to go golfing? Hey, that's fun. Have something to look forward to get up and remind myself about what I'm leaving behind. And what I'm leaving behind is being scared at night, thinking people are after me, demons. Boy, that's the dope. Really is.
Evil.
Yeah, you really, and I see it with, over time I've just seen it with so many people. And recently I was talking with somebody, and we talked about how he was so scared that he was behind the table that particular night with the rifle in his hand, And I think a lot of people who are doing this stuff are in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not scared when I'm sober. I'm not scared.
Boy, say that again.
I'm not scared. I think there's demons up in the attic. I really do, because there's been a lot of people who've been in that place, and I'm sure there's, I hear noises from up there. I do. But something.
Well, you know something that demons don't like?
What's up?
The name of Jesus.
Yes, I would agree, and have that faith and walking right.
And demons don't like the name of Jesus, even if you don't believe the name of Jesus.
Right.
But if you use the name of Jesus, they don't like it.
And someone told me, someone on the street told me about putting the Bible open, and so I opened a couple of my Bibles in there, and does it work? Hey, for me it works, yeah.
Can't hurt, right?
Can't hurt. But I tell you, when I'm sober, those sounds, I don't care. They don't care. Somebody wants.
Of course, it could be just squirrels.
Sure could. So kind of like my stepfather, once said, he was talking about, peeping toms, and he's like, well, they want to look in. I don't care if they're, right? I don't care if they want to. And so that's kind of how I am. Is it could be a squirrel, it could be an acorn falling on the roof, but if somebody's tapping my phone, I don't care. Like, what are you going to see? What are you going to? You're going to be, if you're that bored, and you go ahead. My thoughts. So,
Go ahead.
and so I just selfish. I've been proud of the move. Things that I've done, it's really moved me in the right direction. Coming here, it's a lot of fun.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that so much. And thank you. Is what I would say, both to you and everyone. And
Well, we like you being here.
thank you.
You help us when you're here.
And I feel that I feel your love is what I'm saying. Yeah,
Well, I'm
and I
glad.
appreciate that.
I'm glad.
Uh-huh.
Because I love you, Garth.
I love you. Hey, I love all y'all out there and out there. We're all here just to have a good time and walk through life. We all have challenges, But drugs, for me, I venture to say for everyone, but I won't speak for anyone but me, they don't work for me. They don't enhance. Yeah, they don't.
So let's look at these practices that we have down here. Are they not there? On question number 3.
Oh,
Here, use this. The very bottom of that page, the
so
3 practices. That's the inventory. Yeah, good. Those 3.
where have I been? Oh, okay, yes. What have I done right today? Okay, yes. And I've written all over this, you can't see it, so I kind of, it's blocking some of my things. Yeah, so what have I done right today?
That's a good question, right?
Sure. And one is, like I mentioned, the guy who came over, he was running from demons. I mean, he's scared. I've always let him in. I don't want him in. But I can't let somebody who's scared, I can't turn something away. Well, I say I can't. But now I can, because it's about me. Yeah. If I'm not strong enough for myself right now, then I can't give it to somebody else, because I'm going to lose what progress I've made,
So would you qualify that as a healthy choice?
Yes.
Okay, good deal.
Absolutely.
The next one?
What do I need God's help with today? And what did I put?
Well, this one says tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
does it? Oh,
we need it today and tomorrow.
Okay.
And so what I put here is protect me from the demons, And so because, so protect me from the demons,
Well, the Lord's Prayer says, lead me not into temptation, right? The trouble is, we always seem to be making that turn into the temptation.
Sure.
So he's not leading us. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes.
So, Lord, help me make those healthy choices. That was today. How about tomorrow?
Well, that would be something every day. But and so when I say protect you from the demons, that's those me wanting to use or me thinking that maybe the sound's in the attic or something and and I tell you, I had taken a video up there, and I can see in the video what looks like somebody's like crouched down. I mean, so it's not just the sounds.
Did you look at that today?
No, and this was
It might look different now.
something, and that's good because it was a video I'd taken because I can't crawl up in the attic and just, so I could hold my hand up and kind of around like that, and like way over in the corner, and this was some time ago, and so perspective, I would like to see it, to see what my perspective or perception would be of that particular.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
That's a good point, Robert.
But there's been a lot of people that's been in that. It's it's a house. It's subdivided. I've had it.
Sometimes it's not what's there; it's what that we think's there.
Yes. Absolutely.
That disturbs us most. Einstein says that the most powerful thing that we have is our imagination, and we have to have it bent in the right direction.
And I need to be healthy so that when I hear the sound up there, that my mind goes to an acorn falling from a tree.
Could be, or we
even
we speak to that fear and cast it down. Okay, and again, as your mind gets clearer and clearer, you'll be able to think about what the possibilities are, and
Pretty soon you may not even hear it anymore. It'll become out of your mind.
because I've had a lot of people, I remember this one lady, she'd call me and says, they're outside the house, they're beating on the windows, I've had several, go through that, and they are convinced, that, I know you believe that. Well, let's go out and look. And this one guy that was always convinced that there was somebody down the road that was there and was wanting to hurt him. I said, I said, well, come on, let's go look. Let's go down there. Let's see. They didn't want to do that either. You know what I mean?
And you know, I've seen so many people. You know, I've heard that from so many people, and I just know who's pounding on my door. About every 4 months, he pounds on my door. You know, and it's just like, let me in, you know. And when I open, I can see the fright in his eyes, and I just know he's running from something.
One of the songs that they sang when I went to Mexico on a mission trip, it was "Shut the door and keep the devil in the night." I think of that all the time. They used to just, you know, shut the door and keep the devil in the night, you know, and just over and over and over, you know, and you know, we just shut the door.
Yes.
I have a thought also.
Go ahead.
Sometimes it's good to be specific when we pray.
Good.
So if you're having some thoughts like this, pray to God and tell Him exactly what you want help with. You want help to hear the sound differently that's in your attic. You want to attach that to an acorn instead of what you have in the past. Ask God to help you do that.
And you know, I had a rat in the walls at one time, you know, and I know I had a rat in the wall because one day my kitty cat come out with a rat in its mouth. The poor little rat, big old fat rat, and it was upside down, little leg were hanging like this, and my cat just pranced around with that rat in the mouth, you know.
Had a prize.
Yeah, and so, you know, yeah, and so it's adult folks, if y'all have those fears and stuff, I'm just saying, for me, you know, whenever I go back to doing it, it would be the same thing. When I would stop, it's completely different. So.
The last one.
And what am I grateful for today? Well, let's see. Well, I have a whole bunch of stuff there that I've written, you know. But, you know, what am I grateful for today is it's difficult to be succinct. There's a lot of stuff, but it is.
Well, how about if we go with what's your number one thing you're grateful for?
And I'd say that I'm sober because it goes to my mind. My mind kind of controls everything here and what I see and hear, and so with the clean mind, then it just makes the world. It doesn't make the world a much better place.
Yeah.
It makes my perception of the world more in check with reality. Is how I think.
And in a way, it does make the world a better place because you feel more peaceful, right? Is that true? You feel more peaceful, and if you feel more peaceful, then you're bringing less chaos and more peace into reality, this world, and that makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I was thinking the other day, and I kind of forget what it's about, but it's, you know, I kind of feel like, you know, there's energy that's always kind of going out, and so I can be screaming at somebody and think it's just being this other person, but there's other people around me that it's hurting, and so when I'm happy then it kind of spreads as well. So, you know, it affects more than just one person, and so.
That's true. So, what did you learn from this lesson tonight?
Well, for me, I think it's how important it is on a daily basis to think about, you know, do my daily
Inventory.
Inventory, yeah, you know, and do it forever, you know, because, and just one thing I was thinking is, you know, practice. I had a professor once say that, you know, attorneys practice law, doctors practice medicine, and they practice because they're never there, and they're always having, you know, so it's that constant each day, and I think doing a personal inventory every day, and just thinking about how it went today, and how it's going to be tomorrow, and what I can do to keep on track. That, I think, is what I really took from this.
That's good. That's good. And so that's your takeaway also?
Sure, yes.
Well, you remind me of a statement that Steve, that used to be part of this meeting long ago, he said that he'd made several trips through prison, and he said, I finally figured out I need to learn how to do life. And people would come up to him because they knew he's passed, and they said, how did you make that change? He said, I learned how to do life, and I accepted God, I accepted Jesus Christ, and to live life on life's terms, reality.
Mhm.
And so that I always appreciated his wisdom. So
And if I, you know, I understand there is, yes, is instead of be trying to control everything, maybe just accept it and appreciate it.
yeah, how do we change reality?
I don't think we can.
Well, we can't, but
I
we
mean-
can affect it if we accept it.
Yes, with you know, how we perceive something. That's how I guess we
But
change.
if you are unwilling to accept reality the way it is, you're not gonna get anywhere. It's gonna push you around, right? Isn't that true?
That is true.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Garth's got all the answers.
I got a comment.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You've grown a lot since the last time I seen you up there.
That's, you know, it's yeah, I mean, just,
Garth, thank you.
yes.
Tell him thank you.
You know, thank you, yes. Someone else told me that. Uh-huh. Yeah, they did this.
He gave you a compliment.
And someone else told me the same thing. Somebody, you know, important and wise, you know.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Garth. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
And I agree with him.
Thank you for the validation. Appreciate that.
Lori, you got anything you want to say?
No, sir.
Willie?
No, I'm good.
Anybody else? You guys have been real quiet over there, so I thought I'd check in with you.
I'm good.
May the Lord bless you and keep you, and may His face shine upon you and give you His peace.
Yes.
Make healthy choices. See you next week. And again, we got roundup in the morning, and so if you're able to make it, that'll be great.